Hello and welcome to Rand class. So this episode is about facts. And I know it sounds weird that I just say facts, but what I want to talk about is how nothing is set in stone. And facts do change in our lifetime because we begin to see the world in a different light, or we have new science available to actually check the facts. And some facts we believe to be true, we have now found out were not true. They were just random things. Like I try to find some facts about the episodes I'm doing, so I don't just say random stuff. But the facts that I find might change or might already have changed from what I said back then. Or that the science community have found out that the person I might have quoted have not done his research or her research right, or might have tampered with the results. And I'm not saying we should not trust facts. I'm just saying that we need to remember that some facts change during our life and we need to accept that. And actually allow scientists and researchers to fact check each other and actually help them doing that so we get the right facts out to us, the common people. Like, I have discussed vaccines a few times, and I have actually discussed it with some anti-vaxxers, and some of them told me that it is full of mercury and it will poison you. And yes, it is true that way back, there was a small amount of mercury in the vaccine, but there no longer is. And there was a report about a documentary made where they found out that the documentary users have used data that was outdated because it was like 50 years old, the data, and new data had arrived since then that disproved their theory. So that is why I'm doing this, because we really need to acknowledge that facts will change. We have to stop being so stubborn and stick to the facts that we have. We need to be able to be open-minded to see the new facts that are coming towards us. Like part of my education, we talked about some stuff that was made after World War II, and we talked about Sigmund Freud. Even though today people have begun picking those theories apart, they are still not widespread enough that we use them as fact instead of the other ones. We even had an assignment while I studied where we had to go and see if this data we had actually were viable in real life. But due to the way society has changed, the data is no longer able to be replicated in our life because it doesn't match our lifestyle anymore. And we actually ended up telling the teacher that, and the teacher agreed with us, but said that due to no one new in a high position have released new data about this or have researched about this, this is still the facts they have to teach us because it is the latest new according to what is new and where I'm educated in. So it's important that we actually encourage people to get new data, new facts, and researching stuff. Even though it has been researched before, research it again, see if it actually adds up, all of it. And it's something that we have to help and encourage, because if we keep using data that is old or doesn't match up with our society today, something bad can happen. Like when people don't want to take a vaccine because they believe some old data that is no longer valued. And that will end up hurting them and us. Like there's some facts that people believe that Vikings had horns in their helmets, but it's wrong. It's not a fact. It's a Hollywood myth. They didn't have that. We have no evidence of that happening. Just like we found out dinosaurs actually have feathers, but due to how we want to see the dinosaurs, they don't have feathers in the new dinosaur movies, even though that is technically how they should look. So we really need to look at all this data and facts and remember it has a life of its own, just like our life changes. So does the facts. And if you don't believe me, then go into YouTube, find the QI episode called The Half-Life of QI Facts. They do a short talk about what I'm talking about now, and they actually show a graph where you can see how data tends to decay, because we find out that what we might have thought back then isn't right anymore, because now we have a new type of camera that can actually zoom in so much that we can see what's happening. And I know some people actually have talked about this before, that we need to encourage researchers to actually try and look over each other's work, but sadly there's no money in it, thereby it often doesn't happen. And we really need to do it, because just look at medicine, or how facts about our body has changed over time. In the previous episodes, I talked about I have a depression, and I can just see how much have changed since one of my family members had a depression when I was a kid, and to now, how we treat it differently, how we talk about it, how we act about it. We have done so much research in that time, so we can actually treat it better and become better with it. Or just look back to when we used leeches because we had to get the bad bile out of your body so you can get better. And we keep getting a better understanding of our body and what it can. And every year there comes some new tech or some new information that actually helps us improve what we're doing and how we're doing it. And by doing that, we change the facts that we thought were fixed. And we have to be so happy that people are doing this and encourage them, because it really can help our life in the end. And that is why I love stuff like documentaries, because I watch the old ones and I watch the new ones, and I can see how facts have changed during time, how we found out that this was not true, or that this country did this and this country did that, where before we just assumed that it was someone else. So there's so much in facts and history that we need to keep going over and over, because we will never find the true result if we don't encourage ourselves to look for it. If we just keep ourselves stuck in the past, we have to move forward along with the data we find. So I hope that this episode have opened your eyes on facts and how they can change and how we need to move forward. And if you know any facts that have changed over time, feel free to share them with me. I would love to see them and to hear them. And you can do so on Reddit, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Just search for Rand Class and you will find me. I wish you all a very happy day.